Today's video is on tips and tricks on test prep and administering using Kurzweil 3000 Firefly. We have 6 tips for today. The first one we will be showing you our virtual whiteout, which allows you to eliminate solutions in a multiple choice test question or eliminate text for the students not to see it or have it read out loud. The second feature we'll show you is the fill in the blanks feature. There are 3 ways to fill in the blanks. As well, the student can answer by typing in their answer or using our voice notes feature. Third tool we'll be showing you is the search and replace text. This comes in handy when there's a common error or item that you want to change. This is very helpful in math if you want a word to be said like minus instead of negative. So we'll be able to show you that. The fourth thing we'll be showing you is our bubble notes feature, which many of you may know about or may not, where you can add supports or questions in material. There is a summary tool that is free online, which is used, it's called textcompactor.com. We have found with working with schools that they use this. So we had a school say, well, why don't we use this text compactor to select text in Kurzweil, paste it into the website, simplify it, then copy it and paste it back into Kurzweil and use it as a way to summarize a reading article. So I'll show you that. The fifth thing we'll talk about is the picture dictionary. Now, commonly in tests, schools choose to lock the dictionaries. When you lock the dictionaries, the picture support dictionary will be disabled. We have a way to go into the background. Even though your dictionary is locked, you'll be able to use pictures and link them to the word to have that picture pop up. Then the sixth thing we will be talking about is where to store your benchmarks or have a common place where teachers can add material and then collectively work on that material where students can't see it, but the teachers can, and they'll be able to copy and paste it into their teacher folder or the district level library when the time comes to administer tests. So let's get started. Throughout the video, I'll be pausing to prepare for the next tip. So you'll have time to pause, and then if you do not want to listen to a certain section, I will have a note pop up in the screen that you can just scroll to the next section that you're most interested in. So first on the list was our virtual whiteout. I'm going to maximize Kurzweil, and here's a test. So in this test, in the multiple choice, I want to remove some of the options for the students. So what I'll do is I go to the drop-down menu, Edit, Image Selector. You select the image you want to remove. Then you go to Scan, Image Fill, and White. You click Yes that you want the underlying text to be removed and that Kurzweil will not read it, and show it. And now it's gone. And then when I come down here, and I want to maybe remove C, I can show you again. You go to Edit, Image Selector, select the image, go to Scan, Image Fill, and White. Choose Yes. Now, just to show you what that sounds like, I'm going to click Read.
A time required for diffusion, the elasticity of the plasma membrane. The surface area to volume ratio.
And that's our virtual whiteout. Now, to fill in a blank, you have multiple options. The manual way is using the A-Text tool. If I click on the green toolbar, which is the far left box, it will pop up my Study Skills toolbar. I can then choose the A-Text, click on the blank, and type in the blanks. Anything you type in will print. Also, the second way to fill in blank is if a student has a word bank or any text on the screen, they can double-click on the word, choose the word, drag it, and drop it. Kurzweil will read that in the document.
1. Telophase is the final phase of mitosis during which...
and I can choose stop. Now those might be difficult if the student's not sure how to get it exactly on the blank, but we have a tool here that will find the blanks within any test and worksheet so long as the text or the line is long enough. Otherwise, you can use the manual a text feature to add where Kurzweil did not find the blanks. So if I click on Tools, come down to Fill in the Blanks, click on that. It will fill in the blanks and leave a text box so the student can fill in their answers. Now, a hidden feature within Kurzweil, maybe most students can use the fill in the blanks, but there are some students that may not have the ability of typing. We can change the option of filling in the blanks by going to Tools, down to Options, click on Image. When I click on Image, this gives me a fill in the blanks box. I can choose Voice Notes and Apply, and then when I click Fill in the Blanks now, it will put a voice note there, and the student can record their answer by double-clicking. Then they click the record button. October 7th, 2015. Click stop and OK, and now that's been recorded. When the time comes for the teacher to listen back at the work, the student can save it to their student folder, which is located under File, Save to Library, and then put it in their folder under Public or Private, and then the teacher can come in and open that folder. So that concludes Filling in the Blanks tool. The next tool I forgot to mention at the very beginning of the video. Many schools use online testing systems. Commonly, you'll find it in college. So here's an AccuPlacer test. Other tests that are administered through the computer might as well use these same techniques to read tests that are online, as well as curriculum. So there are two ways to read text on the computer in Kurzweil. Some testing systems may not allow you to use the web browser or read the web. This is the first way I'll show you. Then I'll show you another taskbar tool that Kurzweil has installed that you can use to read text. Right now I'm going to use the Read the Web feature. So here in Mozilla Firefox, there is a web browser add-on that Kurzweil has that you can add within Mozilla. And so if I wanted to read this passage, I can click the Read button.
First known ventures, worn as early as 700 BCE by the...
And I can click pause to stop reading. Now, if it's an image, it will not read that text. So I'll be showing you down here another way that we can read text that's on a screen that is image or locked. So that's the first way. We can read the web using the Read the Web through Mozilla Firefox. The alternative is if you'll just come to your taskbar tray, we are going to turn on the Kurzweil taskbar tool. So if you'll come to a blank part of the taskbar, you right-click, go up to Toolbars, then come down to Kurzweil taskbar. This is going to add a few tools at the bottom of your screen. The first box shows you the Kurzweil icon. And if I wanted to select text in the page, I can click on it to select it, drag my cursor over it, drag it and drop it into the Kurzweil box.
The first known dentures, worn as early as 700 BCE.
I can say pause and stop. And so that's one way. Now, if this is a locked image, that feature would not work. That is why we have the image reader. And the image reader pops up. If you don't know what any of these tools are down here, if you'll just hover over them, it will tell you. So I'm looking for image reader. If I'll click on image reader, bring the crosshairs over the text I want to read, drag a box over it, it will go through optical character recognition
born as early as 700
and read the text out loud. So those are two ways that you could read tests online or any locked material. You can use that Kurzweil taskbar tray in other applications. So if it's a PDF, a Microsoft Word document, you don't want to go directly into Kurzweil, you could use that. So that concludes Number 3, read the web and our taskbar tray image reader. Next on our list, we're going to be showing you the search and replace text feature. As I mentioned, this can make editing the test much faster and easier. Here is a math test, part of the STAR 7th grade math test from 2013. If I wanted to go in and replace the minus or the dash to be called negative or minus, this is where I could do that. As well, if you want the answer choices F, G, H, J, as well as A, B, C, D, to have a pause after it says the letter, we can add punctuation. So to do that, what you can do is go to Edit, down to Find, and then Replace Text. When I do that, it opens a window to tell it to find something and replace with. Now, I'm going to type first the letters. So capital letter F, I want it to replace with capital letter F, period, space. Now, you want to be very careful that you put a check in the box that says case sensitive and match whole word. Otherwise, what will happen is every time it comes to, say, the letter F, in this word it says form, it will say F, orm, after. So we want to be careful. So I'm going to use case sensitive match whole word, and then I'm pretty safe to know that if I do a replace all, that's the way that I want it to read. So there's only about 6 pages in this, so we'll probably only find about 3 or 4 answer choices and multiple choice that have this. So I'm going to say replace all, and it searches the entire test, and it says, okay, there's 5 occurrences that have been changed. I can continue this step, do G uppercase, and every time it comes to that, it will do a G period space, case sensitive, match whole word, replace all. I click on that. And so I'd repeat this process throughout the test. Now, if I wanted to do negative in this case, this would be a little different because I don't want it to say negative every time. It might need to say minus. So what I could do is put this dash in here. I know that the first one is going to be negative, so I'll put that in there, and I'll say find next, and I'll say replace, find next. There it is, 7, so replace, find next, replace, just scroll, just move this over so I can see what it's doing. Find next, replace, and so forth. And let's do it some more. So find next. Now this is a minus, so I want to change this word to minus. And then choose replace. Find next. Here's another one, minus. So I can say replace and go throughout this process. So let's listen to it now. So I click up here and then click read.
The numbers below form an arithmetic sequence. -4, -7, -10, -13.
And so that shows you the search or replace tool. The next tip I'll be showing you is a summarization tool that we can use outside of Kurzweil. The test for the state mandate for Texas gives you pop-ups and rollovers. Those are similar to our bubble notes feature. In earlier videos, I showed you what different things you could put in the pop-ups or rollovers, which is our bubble notes feature. And I'll show you a few of those here after I show you the summarization tool. So using textcompactor.com, what you can do is select the text or the reading article, do a copy, and then paste it into textcompactor.com. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to do a Control-A or select all, Control-A, and then I do a right-click copy or Control-C. Then you can go to textcompactor.com, which I've already typed it in, right-click, do a paste it in, and then scroll down, and here is the slider bar that you can change the percentage of text to keep in your summary. So I'll just move that to about maybe 36, 35%. So it has eliminated a lot of the text and simplified the material to give them a summary. Now, you might want to read through this because it is a computer-generated program, so you might want to add something or take something away. So I'm going to select that, right-click Copy or Control-C, go back to Kurzweil, and I have here the test. Now, I don't have the bubble notes feature in my tool. I can add that by right-clicking, go down to Customize Toolbar and get just that tool, or I can go to Apply Toolbar Set and use the Test Preparation Toolbar that gives me that bubble notes feature. Either one is fine. I'll do Test Preparation. You'll see there's the bubble notes feature. Otherwise, if I wanted just to apply that single tool to my toolbar, I can right-click, go down to Customize Toolbar, and choose the bubble notes. So these are the active buttons. Down here, there are inactive buttons that you can add. If you hover over any of these buttons, it tells you what it is. So here's Add a Bubble Note. I'm going to double-click to add that to my toolbar. Then I can click Apply and OK. And it's in my toolbar. So if I want to paste the bubble notes right here at the very beginning, I could click where I want it, put my cursor there, click bubble note, it opens a bubble note. I could type summary and then do a right-click paste. And there's the summary. You can also tell it your open options. So open options, open while reading. You might want to take that check out of the box because maybe the students don't want to hear the summary or see the summary. Reading options, read note on open. If it's allowed to be read, you might want to leave that open. Otherwise, you can take the check out of the box and it will not read it to the student. So I'll just click that to say no, and then click OK. And now when the student clicks on the little question mark, it will open that summary. They can scroll through it, read it, and then click OK. And that is bubble notes using the summary tool of Text Compactor. I want to show you another file with examples of how you could use that bubble notes feature. If you'll click, I'm going to click on my file, open from library, because I saved this to my teacher folder. Let's see, where did I put it? Okay, math reading. Okay, benchmarks, here's reading. Okay, let's see. Okay, sample, star, bubble notes, and I'll click open. So here's a test that was created by a teacher. It has a customized toolbar because you can do that. If they're taking a test and you don't want them to have all the tools or it's just too complex of a toolbar, you can remove those and lock it to the test. That's done in another video. But here's a sample of how to use a bubble note. Nutrients, nourishing food. So that could be a support just to give them a little bit of a definition of that. And back here is where a teacher has placed a sticky note for instructions for the students as they're reading. So I'm going to just turn the page, go to another bubble note. Here's an instance where they placed a synonym in the bubble note. Down here, when it goes to talking about fact 1, which is A, they placed the text in fact A just to eliminate and have them identify that fact A is, fact 1 is the A. Let's see, what else do we have? On the third page, here's a sample of a question. And when we click on that, here is a scaffold of the same question, but broken into sections. So that's another way you could use bubble notes. In math, if an equation is allowed to be given to a student or a formula, you could use the bubble notes to place the formula as a hint to answering the math equation. So that concludes adding bubble notes and also using the summary tool Text Compactor to summarize a Kurzweil document. The next tip or trick I'm going to be showing you is to add picture supports when the dictionary is locked. If you lock definitions within our program under lock features, the students will not be able to use the dictionary as well as the picture dictionary. So we'll show you how to add picture support for students that need that, but go through the background. So first I want to check to see if Kurzweil has a picture for aircraft. So I will click Aircraft, choose Picture, and if it is there, I know that I can link to that picture. So to link to that picture, what I do is in my green toolbar, which is my Study Skills toolbar, is click on the Hyperlink button. This gives me the option to hyperlink to a web page, which in other instances might be great to go to a teacher website or go to a video to engage the student, or link to within a document, take them to a section of the text that you want them to get to, or a file. So I'm going to click File because it is a file within the C drive. So what I'll do is click File, choose Browse, and we're going to browse to that directory. So to browse to that directory, you click on the C drive. So go down here, Windows C, and then I will click on Program Files x86. You double click there. You go down to Kurzweil Education Systems. Click, then Common Files, and then now I can look for Widget Picture Dictionary. Notice that there are two other dictionaries located here as well, Kurzweil 3000 Spanish Picture Dictionary or the Kurzweil 3000 Picture Dictionary. We also have the ability to link to sign language, but ALS needs to be purchased in order to do that. But Widget Picture Dictionary is the one you'll want to search, and I'm going to type aircraft in the search box in the top right-hand corner. And so it has found a few options for aircraft. So regular aircraft would be here. So if I click on aircraft, that's the one I want, choose OK or open, and then choose add, it will add a link for the student. So there's aircraft, it's now linked to the picture dictionary. I'll just show you. Now if I go in here and lock the picture dictionary, or excuse me, the dictionaries, and click on references, and tell it disable dictionary. I can also disable synonyms and other features. I'm going to click apply and OK. And so now when I do that, the students don't have access to the dictionary, but when they click on aircraft, it gives them access to that particular word. So that is a tip for getting around locking the features and as well allowing the students to get pictures for particular words that you have linked to. Okay, the final tip for today is about saving things to the Universal Library within Kurzweil Firefly. I'm going to show you the directory that will look similar to your district. Now, teachers have found an issue with creating benchmarks, CBAs, as well as checkpoints or whatever your school district calls them, and being able to share them with other teachers. So we've have a workaround that a school district figured out. Humble ISD, thank you for finding this, and it's a good tip. Now, it might not be ideal for your district, but it's a tip that if you want to find a solution for sharing CBAs and working on them together, you'll be able to do that. Now, you do have a district-wide library that if I go to File, I'm in as a teacher, I go to File, and I go to Open from Library. As a teacher, I see my name at the top, and then I also see Jonesville ISD District-Wide Library. If I click on the District-Wide Library, I see a public folder. There is also a private folder that is not visible to teachers or students. And if your district does not give you the admin privileges to put CBAs in your private folder or the private folder, an alternative is what I'm going to show you here in a few minutes. Now, you'll see below me that I have my students, and there's an unusual student here called Benchmarks. This is a student, a fictitious student that we created. The good thing about Kurzweil Firefly is that each teacher can add students to their team, and the teacher can see into each student's folder. They can see a public folder and a private folder. Now, nothing is private about a student, so teachers can see both of those folders. However, if a student were to click on my teacher folder, they can only see my public folder, just as I can only see the district level's public folder. So what I could possibly do is create, as I've done here, a fake student. If the teachers in your district will add this student, fictitious student, to their team, they can contribute and save things to the public or private folder of that student. No student can see other students' folders. So this is a way that you can save benchmarks into a student's folder, share them with other teachers, and give those tests when it's time. So I'm going to show you right quick how we go to add a student. Now you can go within Kurzweil. There's a shortcut to get to My Account, to get to the Firefly website. Otherwise, you don't need to be in Kurzweil to get to the Firefly website. All you would do is type www.fireflybykurzweil.com. But here's a quick way to get there. I'm going to click on that. Now, I log in as myself, the teacher. Click Login, or OK, or Enter. And then I can go to My Account, down to Users. Now, I have an Everyone tab and a My Team tab. When a teacher first comes into the program, there shouldn't be anyone listed in My Team unless your district was involved with the upload process, the free upload process that our team will allow you to use. So if you send us your roster, we can roster all users, including teachers and students, as well. If the roster includes what classes they're in during the day, those students will be in your list. Otherwise, if it's empty, you can go to the Everyone tab, click on Everyone, search for the student. If you see the student, you can click in the checkbox to say Add to My Team. Now, if the user is not in the Students tab, or say I'm looking for a Teacher tab, I can add that user if I don't see them rostered into the program. So I could click Add User, and this is what you would do. If your district does not have a shared student generic place to store CDAs, you could create one. So I might say, as I did in the other student, I could name it Benchmark as the last name, Benchmark as the first name, or Star Practice, create a password, and put in an email address. You do need to have an email address in there, even though it might be a fake one. Then you can choose which campus, which if this is a district-wide CBA, really doesn't matter what you choose at this point. You could just set it for district and then choose student, and you want to leave that check in the box. Otherwise, if you're helping create teachers, you can take the check out of the box and create other additional teachers. Be cautious and make sure it's okay with your district that you add users. Some school districts choose to call into their special ed office or the office that is in charge of Kurzweil to have those added so that there's not duplicates. This external ID, if your district has been through the process of giving us their roster, this external ID number is very important. This might be a student ID or a teacher ID number. This is only important in that when we come back to roster next year and we remove your seniors and add your kindergartners, no one will be deleted that shouldn't be deleted. If you leave that external ID blank, there is a possibility that this user will be deleted. So in the point of this fictitious student, it will be deleted. So always back up your work. So we already have the benchmark user created, and let's just say that I'm coming in as a teacher. I'm removing this user from my class, and if I needed to come in and add that fictitious benchmark student to my class, I could go to the Everyone tab, search for the name that the district created for that student, click My Team, and then now when I come back to My Team, Benchmarks is there. So within Kurzweil, this now gives me the opportunity that if I click File, Open from Library, and I go to, let's just say I've been working on a benchmark and I'm going to contribute the grade 4 reading Star. So what I can do is select that because I saved it in my public folder or private folder. I can right-click, do a copy, and then come down to the fictitious benchmark student, click on public or private, wherever you want to, and say, here's the STAR 2013. I want to paste my contributions in here. So I click paste, and it puts it in the folder. And now any teacher that sees that student or has that student in their team can get that test. Now, we probably would leave the benchmarks here until the day of test taking, or if you've locked and password protected it, you can set it up there because the students can't log in if they don't know the login. But from the benchmark students, what I could do is either copy that into my my teacher folder so that only my students can see it. I'll click on public. I want this whole folder to go in my public folder. Then I select it, right click, do a copy. And then I go to my teacher folder, put in my public folder, and then right click, paste. Once the students are finished with that, they log in, go to my folder, click on public, choose STAR, then take their test. After they're finished with that, I can then that evening right-click to cut it, and then right-click to paste into my private folder, paste. That concludes this video. If there's anything that you have questions about, feel free to reach me. Once again, we're Audio Optical Systems. I'm Stephanie Ingham, and you can reach us at 800-888-0305, or you can also reach us through email, which is aos@Kurzweil, which is Kurzweil, Austin, so that's AUSTIN.net. Thanks for joining in.